Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson, your host. Welcome back. It is good to have you, and happy Hanukkah. That's right. The holidays are upon us, beginning with Hanukkah, which started last night at sundown. Such a glorious season. It is the season of miracles, and if you don't know the story of Hanukkah, it is a miracle holiday. Maybe we'll share a little bit about that a little bit later on in the show, but I don't know about you. I could sure use a miracle in my life this season. You know, we spoke last week a little bit about the holidays. If you recall, we talked about a virtual holiday family gathering and what that could be like, and how it doesn't have to be so bad. You can mix it up. You can make it fun and enjoyable. Maybe start a new family holiday tradition. And we also talked about how you could possibly start off that difficult conversation with your family about proposing the idea of a safer virtual holiday. You know, my idea was to start the ball rolling, to give you some ideas on how to get out in front of things so you weren't catching people off guard with little time to discuss things and get used to the idea. So did you do that? Did you talk to your family? How'd it go? Were you able to think about it at all? Make any arrangements? If you were here last week, you'll remember how I talked about how difficult it was going to be for my family because of how important the occasion is to all of us. But you know what? When I reached out last weekend, I discovered that pretty much everybody else was on the same page as I was. So, it'll be okay. Do something different this year. You'll survive. And that's the point, right? You know, I've heard way too many accounts of large family Thanksgiving celebrations that ended up with multiple family members getting sick, and that is not what we need. That is not what you need. That is not what our economy needs right now either. So come on, y'all. Let's Google Hangout for the holidays. You know, we'll be zooming around the Christmas tree, and as long as you love me so, let us Skype, right? Or what the heck? Facebook Live your Festivus, for the rest of us. Speaking of Facebook Live, did you know that you can watch our show on Facebook Live? That's right. Just go to KHTS Radio Facebook page and click on the feed and well, there we are. Hello. How are you? Glad you could join us. We've got a great show for you today. We've got Dr. Roscoe Marter. He is President and CEO of Facey Medical Group. He's on the line now, and we'll talk to him in just a minute. Next hour, we'll check in with Anthony Addis, who runs the iCREATE after-school program for Little iLeaders preschool, and he's doing some amazing things for some kids who, aren't able to stay home for distance learning. And so we'll talk to him about how he's supporting those kids, and Big T will take us home into the weekend with a little bit of fun, a little bit of trivia, so buckle up. Here we go. My first guest, Dr. Marter, Dr. Roscoe Marter, was raised on the East Coast, just on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. He is a graduate of Tacoma Academy, the mighty Tacoma Tigers. After high school, he stayed close to home, attending and graduating from Washington Adventist University before attending Loma Linda University here in California for medical school, as well as his internship and his residency. And some say it was the desire to stay away from the Beltway. Others say it was the allure of the incredible SoCal weather, but I contend that it must have been love that kept Dr. Marter on the West Coast, because he married Lisa Lupo, a SoCal girl, while he was still in his residency at Loma Linda. He joined Facey Medical Group in 1999 and quickly became a Santa Clarita favorite. He served as chief of obstetrics at Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital in 2003 and is currently a member of the hospital's board of directors. Dr. Marter is an active member of the Los Angeles County Medical Association. That's the other LACMA. Prior to taking on the role of medical group president in December of 2018, he served as vice president and regional medical director for the Santa Clarita Valley. Dr. Marter, good morning. Welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Good morning. You do an excellent introduction, I'll be honest. So.
Well, you give me plenty of material. I appreciate it. First off, Dr. Marter, you have delivered a lot of babies here in Santa Clarita. Do you keep count at all?
I did for a while, but eventually I lost count after about 2,000 or 3,000. So there's a fair number, but no, I haven't kept an accurate count.
Well, you are. I don't know if you know this, but you're a family favorite here on Eye on the Valley. I don't know if if you realized it, but not only did you deliver my niece, Big T's daughter, he'll be on the show a little bit later on, but you also delivered my oldest daughter as well as both of producer Sarah's kids.
Well, the fact that I'm on means it probably went pretty well then, so that's a good sign.
You know what? We'll have to send you some updated pictures. They look a little bit different than the last time you saw them.
I believe that. I believe that a lot.
So, so what made you decide to go into medicine in the first place?
Well, medicine was an easy choice because I come from a medical family. My father was a general surgeon. My mother was a nurse right off the bat. My mom's father was a general surgeon. Her brother-in-law was a radiologist. Her other brother's an orthopedist. Most of her sisters were nurses. So it was kind of a slam dunk in terms of medicine. So, but it's always kind of in our gene pool there, I'm afraid. So, but yeah, it was kind of an exciting ride after that. So I kind of gunned for medicine all along, but didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So, but it was fun. My father, like I said, was a general surgeon. I thought, well, that'd be interesting. I like work with my hands as well, but it just seemed like an awfully ugly lifestyle to be on call all the time. So looked at pediatrics and I thought, well, that could be interesting. But then sick kids are so hard, and I really admire people that can work well with sick kids. But that fell by the ways. I like children just fine, just not the sick ones. So, but then looked at anesthesia, and I thought, well, that'd be interesting, but moved on. And then finally, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do at the end of residency or end of medical school. And a buddy of mine asked me, what did you really like? And I had been fortunate enough to spend a couple of months down at White Memorial down here in Los Angeles. And we had done a lot of deliveries there. And I thought, well, I'm never going to do this again. So let me do as many deliveries as I can, get involved as much as I can. But I just fell in love with it. So, but yeah, it's been an interesting ride. So
perfect, and gosh, just the perfect match because as an OBGYN, you're never on call, right?
Yeah, my father finds immense pleasure in pointing that out a lot too. So
okay,
yeah, you didn't want to be a surgeon because of the lifestyle, and so you picked probably the only other one that's worse. So.
Right, I kind of found that ironic myself. Oh gosh, I've got some stories that I could share, but we'll probably do that off the air of our experience with you delivering our oldest. Anyways, so you have really risen kind of through the ranks, if you will, really climbed that ladder at Facey over the last 20 years. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? How did you go from being a young OBGYN to becoming president and CEO of Facey?
You know, I'm not always clear on it myself. I joined us here in 1999 and was working as a regular OBGYN doing what we do. But it's always looking to improve things, to try and improve the workflow processes, to try and improve the schedules, to do whatever we could do. And so I got involved with the hospital as well, did a fair amount of work with them in terms of, in obstetrics. And then, I don't know, I guess people just found a need for leadership in one area or another. And so they asked, and I said, sure, I'd be happy to fill in that slot. The slots just kept getting bigger and bigger. And so, yeah, I became regional medical director here in 2008 for Santa Clarita, and I did that for 10 years, which is, it's really nice to be able to work in that area because it's an area, it's your neighborhood, it's where you live, and so to be able to look out over the valley and go, okay, how do I make things better here? And what way can we serve to improve the provision of medical care? It was kind of fun and exciting, and be able to work with the great group of people that we have here, both at Facey in the Santa Clarita Valley, and then as well as Henry Mayo, to be able to be that liaison between those two excellent groups. It's exciting and it's fun. I got to be honest, I enjoy that piece of it.
It is a fantastic partnership. So, what does the president and CEO of a medical group that covers across the San Fernando Simi and Santa Clarita Valleys do? What are you responsible for outside of your medical practice?
So we have about 200 physicians that we employ. And so my job really is to them happy and provide them with whatever they need in order to do their job the best that they can do. A lot of times that involves working with the Facey Medical Foundation, which we have great leadership there as well. So working with operations so that, the physicians and the staff that support them and everybody works smoothly together. And so I act as that liaison there again, working with the foundation people, working with Providence, which is kind of our parent organization, if you will.
Okay.
Facey Medical Group is not actually employed by Providence, but we are very closely aligned. We have an agreement with the foundation, which then was taken over by Providence. And so we're kind of part of that family in a large way as well. So acting as that liaison to facilitate whatever needs to get done in terms of, the COVID response, in terms of just day-to-day functioning, in terms of coordinating different schedules between the surgeons and the hospitals and that sort of thing.
Okay, it is an interesting and I'm sure very, very beneficial for your physicians to have you at the helm, understanding what they need and being able to provide for them. I'd imagine that does take quite a bit of time away from practicing, delivering babies, and doing the other things that you do as a doctor, right?
Yeah, it does take a fair amount of time. It's true. I'm still in the office 2 half days a week, Mondays and Fridays typically, and then I'm on call still almost full time. So tonight I'll be in the hospital all weekend, and most Tuesday nights I'm on call covering the hospital for obstetrics still. So I've still got my hand in the business, but it's also, I don't know, it's a big group in my opinion, and so they're an excellent group. They do a really good job, but sometimes you need to just try and smooth the path for them so that they can do their job a little bit better. And that's what the rest of it is, trying to make sure everybody's treated fairly and evenly and try and just smooth the way, quite honestly. Ease their way, they say.
That is great. By trade, I am a teacher, but I don't teach in the classroom anymore. My job is to make the lives of other teachers easier, and it's kind of a fun thing to do. It provides me a lot of satisfaction. I'm sure it does the same for you, to help make others in the profession's life a little bit easier. Now, you're right. Facey is a larger organization. I think you've got nearly a dozen locations across the three valleys that I mentioned. So can you talk to us about what kind of services? Obviously, you provide medical services, but what are some of the things that Facey provides at your medical facilities, but also in and around the community?
Right. So like you mentioned, we have multiple groups or facilities. Copper Hill, we have an office there. Canyon Country has a brand new office as of just a few years ago now. Valencia is kind of our hub one right there across from Town Center, and then Valencia Specialty, where I'm located, is right on the Henry Mayo campus. Okay. Most of the outlying ones, we have adult primary care and pediatrics. So Copper Hill, Canyon Country, Valencia, that's really what their forte. But at the Valencia Specialty and a couple of the other offices, we also have specialists. In my office, we have urologists, general surgeons, endocrinologists, rheumatologists, orthopedics, both hand and sports medicine. And so it's a pretty well-rounded group. We have oncology at the Valencia One office there right by Town Center. Ophthalmology is in the Canyon Country office. So it's a pretty broad spectrum of coverage because we really are contracted to provide that full spectrum of care. And we find that if we can coordinate and collaborate well together, we feel that we're able to provide the best service for our customers in terms of getting them exactly what they need, not more, not less, and really be able to coordinate it well. I realize, as some of the patients will tell us, "Oh, come on, it was a delay getting here." That I get it, and that's constantly a work in progress. So we try our best to make that as smooth and clean as possible. So.
He is Dr. Roscoe Marter. He's president and CEO of Facey Medical Group and obstetrician extraordinaire. I do want you to stick around When we get back, we'll be talking about COVID-19, and we'll be asking Dr. Marter how our local hospital is holding up and how to stay safe as we head into the holidays and try to knock this spike back down. You are listening to SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure environment where distance and good airflow are a priority. As a leader in providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers, Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
Consumers Furniture is back open for your business. The safety of our community and our staff, above all, is most important to us. We will provide a safe and clean environment for you to find the perfect piece of furniture for your home. To help you with your purchase, we are offering 25% off your entire order or 24 months same as cash financing. And for our awesome essential workers, we will deliver locally your furniture free of charge. Consumers Furniture is located in the Center Point Shopping Center, below Sam's Club and Walmart.
Mend Cryotherapy is open. As always, they continue to clean and sanitize all equipment. Social distancing will be enforced and hand sanitizer will be provided throughout the facility. Temperature checks will be done daily on each employee, and masks will be provided if forgotten. They have amazing welcome back specials, including the $99 performance package, which includes a cryo session, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, which boosts recovery of damaged cells, the aromatherapy oxygen bar, Nucom, and infrared sauna. There's also a beauty package with a cryofacial, infrared sauna, and more. And don't forget their extensive selection of health and wellness products, including CBD. Men Cryotherapy is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, go to MEND, M-E-N-D, cryotherapy.com. Mend Cryotherapy on Newhall Ranch Road in the Gateway Shopping Center.
Traffic brought to you by the law firm of Owen Patterson Owen, helping Santa Clarita drivers recover from life-changing accidents for over 3 decades. Owen Patterson Owen, encouraging you to drive safely. Visit opolaw.com.
I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, Santa Clarita Valley's local community business bank dedicated to supporting small businesses throughout our community. As a matter of fact, Mission Valley Bank made over 360 Paycheck Protection or PPP loans totaling over $72 million to local small businesses to help them navigate these challenging times. Our commitment to small businesses throughout our community will not waver as we look forward. On behalf of everyone at Mission Valley Bank, we're wishing you a happy holiday season.
It's no wonder people love Baskin-Robbins. 31 delicious flavors of ice cream. Celebrate with your favorite ice cream served any way you want, including the special flavor of the month. Baskin-Robbins, now open on Lyons Avenue in Newhall under new Santa Clarita family ownership, is the first Southern California hybrid design store for Baskin-Robbins and the oldest location in Santa Clarita, over 45 years. America's favorite neighborhood ice cream shop is just one scoop away. Baskin-Robbins, the perfect dessert for your next celebration.
No contract pest control. Did you hear that? Yes, Unipest has no contract, low impact, affordable, and environmentally and family friendly pest control options with orange oil or other family friendly products. Whether it's ants, spiders, gophers, termites, or bed bugs, Unipest Termite and Pest Control has an effective, eco-friendly option for you. Call Unipest today for a free orange oil inspection at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
Season's greetings from KHTS.
Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 on the FM dial and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson, and we are joined this morning by President and CEO of Facey Medical Group and local celebrity OBGYN, Dr. Roscoe Marter. Doctor, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. Before the break, we were talking a bit about you and your background and Facey and all the services that Facey provides. One of the things that I love about Facey is how involved in the communities you guys are. You do a lot to sponsor local events, as well as not just keep your members, but the community at large informed and healthy, and you really participate in the community quite a bit. That's something that's important to you guys, isn't it?
It is. This is the area we serve. And it is a service, and we really recognize that, and we feel privileged to be able to do that. So.
Okay, so now I'm sure you're probably getting sick of talking about it. Quite frankly, a lot of us are getting sick of living it. But we do want to take advantage of having such a world-class physician on the line with us. Let's talk a little bit about COVID and how it's affecting things. How has it affected Facey's operations, whether it's health visits, the precautions you're taking? How have things changed in 2020 for you guys?
Well, 2020 started out pretty quietly, quite honestly. We didn't really have a lot on the schedule. And then in February, one of our surgeons asked, so what are we going to do about this COVID business? Fortunately for us, Dr. Chung, our chief of medicine, said, well, I don't know. Let's see what we need to do. And so we dug a little bit deeper, and at that time, we got our first case up in the Providence Hospital up in Washington. And it just exploded from there. And so we tried to stay a little bit ahead of the game as we could. We developed a COVID team made up of the operations people from the foundation, Tammy Fisher, Kathy Hawes, Teresa David. But then also on the physician side, Dr. Chung, Dr. Chambers, who's our chief of immediate care, Dr. Davidoff, who's the medical director. And that team really got together and developed our response. And initially it was really kind of crazy because, like everybody else, we were struggling to get PPE, personal protective equipment, so masks and face shields, and we were having people make face shields. And again, the community jumped in, and I remember going out and picking up, cloth masks from a friend of ours that works at the dance studio or film on there. And so, everybody kind of jumped in, and that was so helpful. To be able to protect our physicians, protect our staff, because they're really the front lines in all this. And so it's really evolved. We were then able to develop these surge clinics, and those that have been to the Valencia office know about the tent in the back. And originally it was in the front, and we had to arrange to get tents. We're like, oh, what do we do about this, and what's the best approach? But, outside distancing, that's still a thing. Well, that was a part of that response. And we've evolved. We've now got an inside area, and just this week we switched from the small inside one to the big inside one, being for the COVID because of the crush of COVID coming in. So, but we've tried to reach out in a number of different ways. We developed with Providence the telehealth kind of approach, and we're able to do virtual visits so the patients and customers don't have to come in. Sometimes that works great. For a lot of things, it works really well. For others, you kind of need to come in to be seen and check your blood pressure and draw some labs and touch. But I think that for those that it makes sense for, that it's just such a great option. So we really kind of worked on that a lot.
It definitely is. And I was having a similar conversation with one of the area school district superintendents yesterday, how we're kind of figuring out what are those things that you absolutely have to do in person, and what are some of the services that really do work as well or almost as well remotely, and how that might change how we do things in the future. Are you guys at Facey kind of seeing the same thing, that even as we, hopefully soon, shift it back into a healthier physical environment and sort of get back to the quote-unquote normal, are there some services that you're looking at potentially providing remotely or virtually in the future, even after the pandemic?
Absolutely. We were working on our telehealth project back in early last year, and it was one of my goals was to try and develop that, and it was just moving at a snail's pace, and we're just, okay, can we get permission to bill for this? Can we get cameras? All of these things, it was just dying essentially. And then all of a sudden, March and April hit, and everything aligned. So
Yep.
the physicians now, they didn't want to see patients because they're dangerous and dirty, and so we wanted to do it through telehealth. Patients didn't want to be seen because the doctors and nurses are dirty, so they didn't want to come out. So they were fully invested in trying to develop a telehealth solution as well. Health plans, the government all of a sudden said, okay, yeah, we're going to definitely fund this type of thing so you guys can actually get paid for what you're providing. So everybody became perfectly aligned, which slingshotted us forward years in terms of getting this process up and running. But going forward, absolutely. Behavioral medicine, so much of that, we don't actually want them to touch the patient. And so for them, it's a great opportunity. The patient doesn't have to come in. They can be reached anywhere, pretty much. And so that part of it is much nicer. For endocrine, which so much of it is reading off of labs and things like that, those are opportunities. Primary care does a lot of work with diabetic teaching and, education on hypertension and how to manage these different things. So they lend themselves exceptionally well to these type of visits. So, yeah, there's been a tremendous growth in that and opportunity, and we're resurrecting that again right now. We saw a huge boost in April, then kind of slowed down a little bit over the summer, but now with the surge coming back, the interest has grown again on all sides.
Yeah, absolutely, and there are a lot of benefits to it. I know the only thing that my son was scared about going off to college was having to find another therapist. But with the pandemic, they've shifted to remote therapy, and it's working out great. And they're both just absolutely loving it. So glad to hear that you guys are able to innovate and improve things so quickly that way. Now, I know we've heard it a million times, but if you wouldn't mind standing up on the soapbox a little bit for us, what should people be doing to protect themselves and their loved ones at this time? Because, this is a time where we all want to get together with our families, with our friends, celebrate the season, ring in the new year. It's curious, right? No matter how bad the numbers get, we seem to think, oh, this is just my family. This is just my close friends. They wouldn't give me COVID. They're healthy, right? So I know we're supposed to be washing our hands, wearing masks, but what can we do to make sure that we flatten this curve during the holidays?
I think it's just following what we're being told and being resilient with it, being patient, being persistent, because the recommendations out there make sense. They work if you do it. But, wearing a mask, you got to actually put it over your mouth and your nose, and you got to wear it all the time, and you got to not touch the mask a whole lot. This is kind of the problem with the mask is that, if you grab the front of it, now you've kind of exposed it in yourself and it's on your hands, and then you pick your nose or you put it in your mouth or whatever, and so you've already exposed. So you really need to be careful how you do the mask as well. But the masks work. And you need to be consistent with it. I want to open up the economy as much as anybody else does, right. But the only way to do that is to mask up and to distance as well as we can and to wash your hands a lot. Soap works. It kills the COVID, virus. So wash your hands. The hand sanitizers work. All of these things work very well, but it's really exceptionally hard to do it on such a consistent basis so as to minimize your exposure. But what we're finding, I think, that's problematic is that a lot of the spread of it is in people that don't feel like they're sick. Mm-hmm. And so they're, right up next to you because they feel great. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're fine. Everything's good. Don't worry about it. We're good. And then, 2 days later, they get a little fever. And 2 days later, you get a fever. And then everybody in the family's got a fever. And so we've heard the stories. You hear them. They're in the news. They're all over the place. But it's really the asymptomatic ones. And so you just have to continue, which is hard. I get it. I haven't, been able to touch my kids or wife for the last 8-9 months now just because we try and distance and you try and be careful. And I go to work every day. And so I'm around a lot of people. Yeah. And they isolate at home very well, and they do a great job of that. But it's hard. I get it. I really, really do. But you need to do it, and those things work. But you have to do them consistently. You have to do them persistently, and it's difficult.
It is. You know, I heard a doctor once say that in America we're good at the short fight, not so much the sustained fight. We're a lot better with heart attacks than we are with cancer. Even our Olympians, we're better sprinters than we are marathoners, and you know, it seems like we're better at responding to earthquakes and hurricanes than we are a pandemic that's stretching into almost an entire year now. But we've got to stay constant and not get quote unquote sick of it, right? So
Right. I mean, it's very true. It's so true. And it is that consistency that's going to really ultimately turn the corner, that mixed with the vaccine. So I think but it all works together. It's not going to be just one or the other.
Okay. So no silver bullet, huh? So, you know, then there are some other folks out there, and I don't want to say on the other side of the spectrum because, you know, there's a lot of us that are concerned or maybe afraid to go do our regular doctor visits or go to the hospital maybe when we're sick or having an emergency because of the fear, right, of being around so many people, especially people you don't know how sick they are. So how do you feel about that? Should we try to stay away from hospitals and medical offices for the time being?
You know, this has always been the difficulty. And when this whole thing started, one of my concerns was we sent, you know, a lot of physicians home and said, okay, make the telehealth thing work. Call your patients. Reach out to them that way. But people then started coming in with very serious conditions that had let kind of fester for too long. You know, people with ruptured appendixes, people with diabetes that was now out of control and they were, you know, coming in very, very sick. So you really have to manage those things anyway. Regardless of the rest of this. And so what we at the hospital have done, we at the offices have done, is really try and isolate and protect as best we can. When this all started, we didn't have a lot of the things we have now in terms of adequate masks and cleaning supplies. I mean, silly things that we didn't have at the beginning, we now have. And so there's, you know, much more increased cleaning regimens where we wipe down things, wear masks for everybody. Everybody at the hospital is wearing masks, in the hospital, patients, doctors, nurses, transport, everybody. And so it is a different world, and it's much safer. And I think that we at the hospital felt that there's been almost, not no, but very little transmission within the hospital because of all of the safety measures that have been put in place. And we kind of feel the same way at the offices, you know, people that are exposed, and we're seeing that. But they're largely exposed at home or at, you know, stores and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we really have tried to create a discipline around creating a safe space for people to come and get the care that they really need.
All right, so make sure that you're not neglecting your health. Get in there and take care of yourself. Allow the doctors to take care of you. We're talking this morning to physician and president of Facey Medical Group, Dr. Roscoe Marter. When we come back, we're going to be talking about our local hospital, Henry Mayo, and how they're holding up. So stick around. I'm Matt Watson, and this is SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
Become a hero to a child and their family. Apply to become a foster or foster.parent and help keep siblings together. Complete the 1-hour online foster adoption orientation or attend the 1-hour live virtual information meeting with a Children's Bureau staff member and a foster parent on December 17th and have your questions answered. For more information, call 800-730-3933 or visit allforkids.org. That's all, the number 4, kids.org.
Some schools go online. Others are already built for it. iLead Online is a tuition-free public charter school that uses digital resources and tools to support a whole child-focused K-12 education. At iLead Online, we empower each child to craft a learning plan that they're excited about, one that complements their passions and pursuits with self-directed, STEAM-focused projects to stimulate their development in all areas. Yes, your child will receive a robust education. iLead Online is WASC accredited and offers UC, A through G, and NCAA approved courses that will prepare your child for success in college and beyond. But more than that, they'll explore what makes them who they are through interest-based electives and social-emotional learning that fully equip them to be 21st century leaders. iLead Online also offers online adventures for grades K through 5 in a project-based, all-inclusive curriculum shipped straight to your home. We serve Los Angeles, Orange, Ventura, San Bernardino, and Kern counties, and we are currently enrolling grades K through 12. For more information or to enroll now, visit iLeadOnline.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
The shows must go on. The Main in Santa Clarita is your destination for free online music, theater, art, and entertainment opportunities. Tune into fun variety nights, join a talent show, learn from filmmaking experts, attend a modern play, and more from the comfort of your home. For more information and to view upcoming events, go to facebook.com/themain.newhall or at themain.org. Enjoy the shows.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and when I invented my pillow, I wanted it to have everything you'd ever want in a pillow. You can adjust the patented fill to your exact individual needs. You can wash and dry my pillow. It has a 10-year warranty not to go flat, and it's made in the USA. And now, for a limited time, you can get a queen-size premium My Pillow for the lowest price ever. Regularly $69.98, now only $29.98. That's a $40 savings. I'm also giving you deep discounts on all my MyPillow products, including my bed sheets, mattress toppers, and bath towels. Not only are you getting the lowest prices ever, but they make the best Christmas gifts ever. Buy now and I'll extend my 60-day money-back guarantee to March 1st, 2021.
Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927 or go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
Ho ho! Hometown. May your season be merry and bright.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. We're talking this morning with Dr. Roscoe Marter, President and CEO of Facey Medical Group. Before the break, we were talking about the pandemic and just kind of contemplating the things that we all need to do for the long haul to make sure that we can get through this as safely as possible. Now, Dr. Marter, I know you run Facey, but you also spend a lot of your time at Henry Mayo. You mentioned that your office is actually there on the campus of Henry Mayo, and you're a member of the hospital board, correct? So what's your role as a member of the hospital board?
So I have two roles there. One is the board of directors, so I'm a director on the board, which is kind of a big umbrella, looking at the overall operations, helping kind of guide where things go, overseeing from the community perspective as much as anything else. I sit with multiple other very highly esteemed lay members as well as other physicians, Dr. Nishiguchi and Dahanda, that work alongside us there in terms of providing guidance to the hospital administration and where we go. We don't get down deep into the operations there, but in my other role as the chair of the patient care committee, it really is about patient safety, patient care, quality. What can we do to improve the quality of care, the experience at the hospital? That is the prime directive for that committee. And so I've been fortunate to serve there with your mom and others from the community and other physicians in terms of trying to really improve the care that we provide at the hospital, provide the experience that's optimal. We're so happy to have the tower up now. It was one of the main things that I think was a problem for the hospital in terms of the double occupancy in the rooms. Now everybody's got a private, brand new room, which has been awesome.
Oh, gosh.
The timing couldn't have been better for dealing with COVID. So.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was going to ask, as we hear COVID cases spiking across the state and certainly in LA County, we're hearing about how hospitals are dangerously close to capacity. So with the new tower. Is Henry Mayo doing okay?
They are really, in a lot of ways. We're struggling in other ways, but in a lot of ways we're doing exceptionally well. So with the tower, we were able to isolate tower floor 4 as the COVID floor, and that's really working as a high level of care there. So they get ICU level care at that floor. And then T5, so the top floor is a little bit more of a step down, if you will, or an overflow from there when that gets full. We've expanded down into T3 to some degree. But what happened when we opened the tower is we kind of emptied out some of the other floors and units. And now that we're seeing this increase, we're able to expand back into places where we had kind of constricted back and fallen back from those areas. And so it's good to be able to spread.
Sure.
The difficulty really has been in staffing in all of these places. And so, we have an outstanding staff at the hospital. They really do an outstanding job. And they're diligent and they care and they work so hard. But, they have to go home and they get exposed to COVID there too. And so we have people out for that. We had, exposures there. And so everybody's being careful and not wanting to come to work with anything. And the hours and working with the COVID patients, it's scary because nobody wants to get it. And so, they hide it well. They're not going to show it. But they're tired. They're strong, but they're stretched. And like we talked about it earlier in the show, you can do anything for a short period of time. We're great sprinters. We'll stay up all night. We'll solve this problem. But it's doing it day after day after day. It does take a toll. So, they have families. They don't want to bring their work home to them. So it really is a dedicated staff that we work with. But the persistence is difficult.
As a rambunctious kid, I actually visited Henry Mayo's emergency room before we even lived out here. We were visiting, and I ended up with a nice little crack in my skull and headed out there. And really grateful for the services that the hospital provides and the role it plays in our community. How can our community help support the hospital as this thing kind of drags on and takes its toll physically and emotionally on the staff there? What can our community do to help out?
The community's been really wonderful in so many ways. And, there were so many lunches that were provided and food and gifts and recognition and that sort of thing. And it is very appreciated. It really does help that the staff understand people really do appreciate what's been provided. All the frontline people really appreciate that. The police, cops, the healthcare workers, grocery store workers, everybody that's actually out there on the front line still working, really do appreciate that. And I think at this stage, what we can really do to show that appreciation would be to not overtax them. Right now we're seeing another surge. It has a lot to do with people really relaxing, and I think just part of it's just the nature of the winter coming on and people are closer and they're indoors. But I think some of it is us just getting tired of this COVID stuff and not masking up as well as we need to. And so we see this huge surge in people that are now sick, and so that further taxes them. So really, doubling down on the idea of being careful, washing your hands, wearing your mask, so that we can get over this hump and turn it into a sprint instead of a long marathon event would be really helpful. I think that's the most important thing. When you interact with people at the grocery store, stay back, observe the rules and the recommendations that are there so that they're not getting exposed either. They want to provide a service, they want to work, but they also don't want to get sick either. So I really think it's going to be doubling down on all of the things that we've talked about already, which is boring, which is dull, but it's so important.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is that win-win, right? The best thing you can do to help out the hospital is take care of yourself so that you and your loved ones don't get sick and aren't a burden to the hospital that's already overtaxed. Now, Dr. Marter, we are an educational show, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this. You've got kids, and a couple of them school age as well. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot here. Do you feel comfortable with the idea of kids going back to school campuses soon?
I got to be honest. I think I try and look at it logistically. And my kids want to go back to school, and they want to be with their friends. They want to be with their buddies. I've got one in veterinary school, one in Berkeley, Cal Berkeley, and one in a high school. And so, but they're all virtual,
right.
And so it's difficult. You don't have that camaraderie that you otherwise would have, and so that's tough. But and it's hard to explain to them why they need to stay separate because they don't get sick. You know, they get COVID, they get a little sick, they get a fever, and then they get better. But the problem is, again, we talked about the asymptomatic shedders. They go, they hug each other, they touch each other, they breathe on each other, and then they bring it home to grandma, and they bring it home to me and others, and those people get deathly sick. And so we're seeing it as basically spreaders. They're not the ones adversely affected, but they impact the whole rest of the community. And so as much as I would love to allow them to go back to school, I think we just need to get ahead of this in a way that makes sense. And if we can vaccinate grandma and grandpa and mom and dad, and then, you know, try and get way ahead of this surge, then yeah, we'd all be happy to go back to school. But I don't know that we can until we're really to that point without really gutting the whole system.
And as Americans, it is frustrating for us not to know, but it's just kind of, forgive it if it's a pun, but it's still just kind of up in the air for right now, isn't it?
It really is. And I think I think that yesterday they got approval of the vaccine.
Yep.
We're already talking about how to distribute that and get that going, and I think that'll be a game changer. But it's not going to be a quick game changer. It's not going to be a game changer in December. It'll be a game changer early in the spring and the summer, and hopefully by that time we can turn the corner on this. But it is huge, and I think we do need to move forward with it. And for those of you that have questions about it, no, physicians support this.
Yeah.
This is something that really needs to happen. And yeah, you may get a little, pinprick at the site and may get a little aches and pains, but it's something that otherwise saves your life or serious complications afterwards. It's important.
Dr. Roscoe Marter is a phenomenal OBGYN. He's delivered thousands of children here in Santa Clarita. Henry Mayo, board member, president and CEO of Facey Medical Group, husband, father of 3 girls. I don't know how you find the time for it all, let alone an extra hour to goof off with us. Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Marter. You have a great weekend.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Matt.
And you stick around. When we come back, we'll be talking to Anthony Addis from iLead's iCREATE, a program supporting kids for whom distance learning is not an option. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and iLead Schools' Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Celebrate the Dodgers' first World Series championship in 32 years with the 2020 World Series film, available now on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital platforms. A pulse-pounding documentary narrated by Vince Scully and crafted from hundreds of hours of postseason footage. The 2020 World Series film features thrilling highlights, exclusive player interviews, and unforgettable moments from baseball's biggest stage. Only from Major League Baseball and Shout Factory. Order your copy from Amazon today.
Welcome to Dunkin'. There are 2 Dunkin' locations in the SCV. Both locations have outdoor seating, carry-out service, and delivery with Postmates, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. Use the Dunkin' app to order and accumulate points. The Canyon Country location on Sierra Highway near Via Princesa has drive-through service and is open till 7 p.m. The Bouquet Canyon location just off Newhall Ranch Road has curbside service and is now open till 7 p.m. The Santa Clarita Valley runs on Dunkin'.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
Experience Frontier Toyota's all-new hot and exciting Toyota lineup. serving the Santa Clarita Valley for over 30 years. Frontier Toyota, the Camry, Corolla, and Prius Kings. They're tops in Tacoma and Tundra trucks. Frontier Toyota, the new way of car buying. Shop from home at frontiertoyota.com or visit their showroom at Valencia and Creekside. Discover a whole new car buying experience with your friends at Frontier Toyota.
At iLead Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individualized curriculum that values exploration, innovation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 8, and we've adapted to the needs of today by expanding our play-based social-emotional learning to the online world. With inspiring discovery at the core of every experience, your young learner won't miss a beat with our current distance learning model. We hope you will become part of our school community so that you can enjoy iLead Agua Dulce's beautiful indoor and outdoor campus for hands-on inspiration, including a hands-on makery, an art studio, garden beds, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. To learn more about iLead Agua Dulce and our distance learning program, visit iLeadAguadulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 9 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Preparing to begin vaccinations. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The Food and Drug Administration is expected to give final emergency approval to Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine at any time. An FDA advisory panel last night recommending the government okay the drug.
2.9 million doses of the vaccine are ready to roll within 24 hours of approval of the emergency use authorization. Another 2.9 million doses will be stored for the necessary second dose. According to Pfizer, trials show the vaccine was 50% effective with a single dose, 95% effective with a second dose 21 days later. As the doses go out to states, the priorities will be healthcare workers and at-risk populations like people in nursing homes.
Fox's Mike Tobin. U.S. coronavirus deaths have now passed 292,000 with record numbers of new infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. More than 3,000 deaths were confirmed yesterday alone. Federal health officials warn the number of deaths are likely to remain at these levels through the holidays. Congress is continuing to work on a bill to fund government operations to avert a partial government shutdown tonight. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell today saying there's no time to waste.
The Senate needs to pass a stopgap funding measure today to prevent a lapse while the bipartisan bicameral efforts close in on a full-year funding bill.
The House has approved a short-term spending bill that would put off the deadline for at least a week to allow negotiations to continue. The Supreme Court is expected to act soon on a lawsuit filed by Texas seeking to overturn election results in several battleground states. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton says changes in mail-in balloting in those states disenfranchised voters in his state. President Trump continues his claims that widespread voter fraud tainted the election. His legal team and others have so far lost around 50 court cases. America is listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech for your business. Save big on the latest computers powered by Intel Core processors for your small business. And don't forget to shop servers, storage, and thousands of top-brand electronics, all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 40% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 40% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 40% off and a free camera today.
Time Magazine today announcing its Person of the Year.
President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris have been named Time's Person of the Year for 2020.
Every elected president since FDR has been Person of the Year at some point during their term. This is the first time we've also named a vice president as Person of the Year. The Biden-Harris ticket represents something historic.
That's Time's editor-in-chief Edward Felsenthal. Other candidates were frontline healthcare workers and Dr. Anthony Fauci, President Donald Trump, and the Movement for Racial Justice. Time named the Korean boy band BTS as its Entertainer of the Year and named Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James its Athlete of the Year. In New York, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The Trump administration last night carried out its 9th federal execution of the year. The execution of a Texas street gang member convicted in the slayings of a couple from Iowa 2 decades ago was the first during a presidential lame duck period in 130 years. Scientists say the air is cleaner because of the pandemic.
The world's reported to have cut carbon dioxide emissions by its biggest drop ever in 2020. The Global Carbon Project says scientists believe lockdowns triggered by the pandemic helped planet Earth cut emissions by 7%. People staying home and traveling less by cars and planes are believed to be the main reasons. The research says the U.S. cut its emissions by 12%. Europe cut theirs by 11%. But China only dropped by a little under 2%, mostly because of its industrial output, which wasn't as hampered by the pandemic as the rest of the world. Jill Nato, Fox News.
The promise for many Americans to see the northern lights has fizzled. Space weather experts had hoped the aurora borealis might be seen as far south as Illinois, but those changes are now about zero because the solar flare they predicted would create a geomagnetic storm did not hit the Earth as expected. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks are losing ground with concerns about whether Congress will pass a coronavirus relief package. European stocks slumped on the possibility that a last-minute deal on trade between the UK and EU will fail. However, there's an underlying optimism because of the anticipated delivery of the first coronavirus vaccine. Disney shares rose to a record on the company's prediction that subscribers for its streaming service Disney Plus could triple in the next 4 years. Prices at the wholesale level were little changed last month, meaning you probably won't see much increase in the near future. Producer prices rose 0.1% in November. There's a merger in the car and home insurance business. MetLife's unit is being sold to Zurich Insurance and Farmers Exchanges. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
What's the perfect holiday gift this holiday season? Untucked shirts. They're the comfortable, easy-to-wear styles every guy loves. And there's never been a better time to buy because everything in Untucked is on sale right now. Untucked shirts are designed to be worn untucked, so they help guys to look sharp and feel comfortable. Who wouldn't love to unwrap one of our iconic wrinkle-free button-downs, super soft flannels, and our famous polos? So don't wait. Our holiday sale is the best time to find the perfect shirt at untucked.com or at 80-plus Untucked stores. Untucked. Shirts designed to be worn tucked.
Join us this fall for online fun with the Canyon Theater Guild online youth workshops. Super fun classes with acting, singing, dancing, audition tips, script writing, scene study, improv, and putting on real shows created for online performance. Get creative, meet new friends, and most of all, have a blast from the comfort of your own home. Call 661-799-2702 or ctgworkshops@gmail.com or canyontheater.org.
Do you change your own motor oil? Did you know used oil is actually hazardous waste and can't be disposed of in the trash like regular old garbage? Fortunately, Santa Clarita has over 20 certified collection centers to properly dispose of used motor oil and filters for free. When you do the right thing, you help keep our city clean. Visit greensantaclarita.com for locations near you. That's greensantaclarita.com. This message is funded by Cal Recycle.
Welcome to Dunkin'. There are 2 Dunkin' locations in the SCV. Both locations have outdoor seating, carry-out service, and delivery with Postmates, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. Use the Dunkin' app to order and accumulate points. The Canyon Country location on Sierra Highway near Via Princesa has drive-through service and is open till 7 p.m. The Bouquet Canyon location just off Newhall Ranch Road has curbside service and is now open till 7 p.m. The Santa Clarita Valley runs on Dunkin'. Hey there, it's Tori with your hometown station weather. Beautiful day today, mix of sun and clouds. Highs in the mid-60s, overnight lows in the low 40s. If you're looking for a great way to spend a safe and festive evening, go to Real Life Church Valencia's Christmas drive-thru, December 18th and 19th. Santa and his reindeer, the Grinch, Disney's Anna will all be there. For more information, visit reallifechurch.org.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. My next guest is Anthony Addis. He is the iCREATE School Age Coordinator at Little iLeaders. Little iLeaders, if you're not aware, is a preschool and after-school care program on the west side of the valley, just off of Newhall Ranch Road on the other side of the 5 freeway. Anthony's been with iLead Schools for over 5 years now. He's got his AS in early childhood education as well as his associates in liberal arts and sciences. He's currently working on his teaching credential and his bachelor's degree at Grand Canyon University. He's known on campus for his creativity and his amazing enthusiasm. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness. Hello. Good morning, everybody.
It's good to have you, sir. Thanks for joining us. So tell us a little bit more about your background, how you came to SCVI and iLead, and how long have you lived in the area? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Anthony.
It's actually a funny story, my background and how I actually started working at SCVI and iLead. I actually met and became friends with Gris Ibarra, who at the time was SCVI's student support coordinator. I met her in a Zumba class, and just, really connect. we just became really close, and I was attending school at the time, and I was still trying to figure, everything out and exactly what path I wanted to go on, and I was presented with an amazing opportunity to join the iLead team, and here I am 5 years later, so that was a great decision.
That is a funny story. Yeah, Gris is an amazing advocate for our schools, and coincidentally, she's also the first person I met with our school organization before I joined. So when you met Gris in that Zumba class, were you already taking ECE courses? Were you already interested in education, or was that something that came about later on?
I've always been interested in joining the education field. I just honestly never knew how to take that route or how to be involved in it. Mm-hmm. And so I guess being in the Zumba class was the right place and the right time for meeting Gris. So I thank you, Gris, for getting me in the doors.
Absolutely, and another reason not to skip leg day, right? You never know if
exactly.
that opportunity is going to come by. So
exactly.
So I believe you joined us as a member of our care team. Is that correct?
I did. When I first started, actually I started working in the Kids Club, which was the SCVI after-school program, and then I transitioned into a full-time care team member about 2 weeks in.
Oh, gosh. That was a quick transition.
Yep.
Okay, and so
very quick.
Tell us about your role now, because you're leading a really important program that this year has become even more pivotal and important. What's your role now?
Yeah, well, like I said, this is I've been with iLead for a little over 5 years. So I started off at the SCVI after-school program, transitioned to care team, which then transitioned to a one-on-one, and then now I'm the Little iLeaders after school age program coordinator, which right now we actually are a full daycare program because, of COVID and everything. Since the schools are shut down, we are still open, accepting kiddos from all around the valley, ages 5 through 12.
Okay, and so you're coordinating that program. Tell us a little bit more. Give us a little bit more detail about iCREATE and the services that you provide when we're not in distance learning. So maybe flashback 8, 10, 12 months. What does iCREATE look like on a regular day outside of the pandemic?
So during the school year pre-pandemic, me and the iCREATE team created this beautiful, innovative after-school program that provides learners, with a safe, welcoming space for them to just be themselves, create. We have a bunch of hands-on experiences that these kiddos probably would never really experience outside of here, just because, technology is like a big thing that that the kids love these days. So we try to limit the technology and just make sure that the kids are really living in the moment and being able to experience just new things when they're with us.
Fantastic. And so it's created as an after-school program. Is it exclusive for the kids at SCVI, or can anybody join that program?
So we accept all learners throughout the Valley to join the program. We have a good chunk. The majority of our learners are from SCVI, but we accept all learners.
Sure, it makes sense that the majority would be from SCVI. They're literally just a hop, skip, and a jump away from your building there, being located there in the same little center. But that's good to hear. You're open up for everybody now. So that was before the pandemic, but boom, Friday the 13th back in March hit, and kids got sent home. And so how did your team transition when distance learning began?
Well, when we shut down on March 13th, it was a very sad time. The staff really wanted to stay open, but we closed for a short period of time just to make sure our families were safe and the staff was safe. And so we luckily, when we reopened iCREATE, we actually opened for our summer program. So we actually had time to rebuild those relationships and reconnect with all of the learners that were joining us. So by the time distant learning began, we already had a plan. We talked to the learners about what the plan was going to be, and the transition was pretty smooth for the facilitators and learners. And the iCREATE team has been going, above and beyond to making sure all of the learners are feeling supported, loved, and really understood during this time, because it's a very hard time, not just for the adults, but for the kiddos as well.
It is tough. So now you guys have like a full day program where you're supporting kids who otherwise would be at home for distance learning, but who knows? Maybe their parents are like Dr. Marter that we had last hour, and can't stay home to support them. So you're working with kids that are now, instead of being there for just a couple hours after school, they're there all day long, right?
Yes, they are. We are open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., so we have learners here all day long. Wow,
it's kind of a long day. So what does that day look like? Suppose, I drop my kid off at 7:30 in the morning and come back and pick him up at 5. What would his day look like?
So right now, since we are in the distant learning aspect of, education, a learner starts off their day here at iCREATE by logging into their morning meetings and their scheduled Zoom times with their classroom facilitator. The iCREATE facilitators are here to, provide that type of care team support you would see in a normal day-to-day SCVI classroom, which in a non-SCVI classroom, I guess you could sort of consider like a teacher's assistant type of support. And then the learners work through whatever combination of class assignments they have, their live Zoom classes throughout the morning, and then sometimes the afternoon, depending on the age group and their schedule. And then after that, they have lunch, and usually by late afternoon, the learners are all done with their assignments, their Zooms, so the rest of the day is just up for pure imagination and creation. We provide all of the learner-led curriculum that allows our facilitators to guide the learners through different experiences, and we have a bunch of great activities that are set out and projects that the learners could engage in. We've been planting gardens. We have a maker station. They're really into fort construction right now. Dance routines a big one. Music, they love music. So I actually have a background in music production, so I'll bring in some recording equipment and they'll record songs together. And sports, they love sports.
Absolutely. Gosh, so it sounds like a kind of a balance. You're really creative and got some great ideas and develop a lot of fun activities for your kids, but it sounds like they're doing a lot of the creating as well. So what's the balance like? Where is the, I guess, the line, or how much do you generate the activities and how much do you allow the learners to generate?
So all of our curriculum is student-led. So, for example, if the learners are really into plants or, cooking or food, then we'll put out materials that interest them. So nothing's really forced. So if they're into cooking, we'll set out some cooking supplies, maybe something simple, like we'll have a skillet with some pancake mix, just easy things like that. And then they're more than well, obviously with adult supervision, they're more than welcome to engage in that. And so we just base everything off what the learners are interested in. So nothing's really forced. It's all up to them.
That is fantastic. We talked a couple weeks ago on the show about how oftentimes we can teach creativity out of kids by constantly showing them this is how you do it, and not allowing them to continue to grow in that natural young curiosity of how things work. And it's great that you guys kind of leave things open for kids, but then you also set the stage, right, with your different talents, the different materials that you bring to the site every day. You mentioned your background in music, and I was curious about that because I was poking around on iCREATE's Facebook page. And for our listeners, if you haven't checked us out on social media, you really need to. It's iCREATE, I like in iPhone or iTunes or whatever, lowercase I, and then all capitals CREATE, CREATE. Check out our Facebook page. Check us out on social media because Anthony and his team are posting some really cool things that our kids are doing. Anthony, I saw a music video that your kids created back in the summer. I think it was a cover of Lil Nas X's Old Town Road.
Yes, that was such an amazing experience just to watch the kiddos record that, and not only record it, they came up with the whole concept and all of the different scenes.
I have to tell you, I laughed all the way through it. It is so cute. Looked like the kids were just having an absolute blast. And now, did you do all of the mixing and the production? Because it's well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. It actually was extremely last minute, and we did that all within a day and a half. But yes, I did all of the recording, the mixing, and the editing of the video and all of that.
All right. Now I need you to be honest because, like I said, I found myself at home. It was 11:30 at night. My son came out of his room, looked at me, and said, "What are you doing?" Because I was singing right along. How much of that is the kids' voices, and how much of it is, well, let's just say post-production?
Honestly, the reason why we chose that song to, do the song and video to show their creative side was because they all know that song word by word. Okay. So what we did was I had every kid that wanted to join sang the song one time through, and then in post I just took bits and pieces of different learners and just pieced it together, so it was just one big collaboration at the end.
But that is their voices, because it's I gotta tell you, it's pretty well sung.
Yeah, very. We have very talented and driven artists over here, let me tell you that.
It was fantastic. We're talking this morning with iCREATE program coordinator Anthony Ades. We're going to talk a little bit more about the program that he's leading for our kids when we come back. You're listening to SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Step into a hot shower or slip on a warm t-shirt fresh from the dryer, and you can feel the comfort natural gas gives us every day. For over 100 years, Southern California Gas Company has provided safe, reliable natural gas service. It warms our homes, powers cleaner vehicles, and cooks our food at a fraction of the cost of other energy sources with less environmental impact, today and for decades to come. Natural gas, part of the clean energy solution. Learn more at SoCalGas.com. Search solution.
When you look at your child, you see so much. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. A little leader growing to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make the world better. At SCVI, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free TK through 12 charter school provides boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a learning program customized just for your child. Today, that means empowering your child to bring strengths and passions to the distance learning environment. Our approach keeps your child and family in step while online, inspiring your learner to keep growing without missing a beat. At SCVI, your child will find even more ways to grow with projects and activities in STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. With the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, SCVI produces graduates who excel at top universities and in life. For enrollment information or to learn more about our distance learning program, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
The anticipation of having a baby brings much excitement and hundreds of decisions. When choosing where to have your baby, choose the best. Providence St. Joseph Medical Center. The new Women's Pavilion combines expertly trained medical staff with luxurious labor and delivery suites and the area's most advanced neonatal intensive care unit. You and your new baby will get the best start possible. For more information and a tour, call 1-888-HEALING. The road to healing leads to Providence.
Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. You're joined this morning by iLead Schools iCREATE program coordinator, Anthony Addis. Before the break, we were talking about iCREATE and what they do on a normal basis versus what they're doing now to support learners who are in distance learning but can't stay home, and providing a very important service to a lot of our families here in the Valley. So, Anthony, let's talk a little bit more about that. How do you and your team partner with parents during this time of distance learning? Because I know it's a really important partnership between our teachers, who we call facilitators. It's more important now than ever that our teachers are partnering with parents in order to help kids continue to learn and grow. But you guys also play a pivotal role with the learners that you're working with. How do you and your team partner with parents as well as the facilitators around the school to help the kids develop their schoolwork and continue to learn and grow?
Yeah, so the iCREATE team is in daily communication with the SCVI facilitators, other facilitators around the Valley, and parents, whether that's via email, phone calls, Zooms, text messaging. I'm texting teachers all day long from different classrooms just to make sure all of the learners are staying on task and they're on top of their schedules. And in each classroom, the iCREATE facilitators have each child's individual schedule on the wall, so we all know. If you walk in the room, you'll be able to know, for example, where Johnny's supposed to be at 9:30, what assignment he has due at 10, what if he has Spanish, what specials he has that day. Like, we have a whole breakdown of their schedules just right there, so everyone's very, very knowledgeable of exactly what should be going on.
That's amazing. So you really are able to kind of stand in for those parents that like we said, are essential workers and can't be at home with their kids. You can stay on top of them, and then you're also communicating with facilitators. Like you said, Johnny says that he's done with his project. He's got nothing to do. Is that correct? No, he hasn't turned it in. Tell him to get back to work. That is fantastic.
Oh my goodness, yes. That's exactly that's a day-to-day conversation.
Oh, that is awesome. So I know that plenty of our listeners are out there thinking, "Gosh, this would be great. My fourth grader's been sitting at home alone, and he's been really struggling because he doesn't have anybody to monitor him. I'd be really interested in a program like that." What ages does iCREATE serve?
We serve ages 5 through 12. And TK, so basically it's TK through 6th grade, maybe 7th grade, just depending on your age cutoff.
Oh, okay, interesting. So it's a little bit more flexible than even the school grades are. Very cool. So basically, transitional kinder through 6th grade, maybe even 7th grade. That's awesome. So are there any openings at iCREATE, or are you guys full right now?
So we do have a few openings left.
Oh, great.
Because of the new COVID guidelines and restrictions, we did have to cut our class sizes smaller, but we do have a few openings.
Terrific. So, I'm going to ask producer Sarah to post the phone number and website there on our Facebook Live feed. If you weren't aware, we do broadcast live on KHTS Radio Facebook Live. But Anthony, do you have the phone number in case families are interested that you could get out?
Yes, of course. So we're Little Eye Leaders, and the number is 661-383-0400. And just remember, your child does not have to attend any iLead schools to join our program. We're open to everybody.
Fantastic. So you're open to everybody. They can give you a call, and they are also located on the web at littleeyeleaders.org/iCREATE. And again, when I say I, that's just the lowercase I, littleeyeleaders.org/iCREATE to learn more about how you can enroll your young one in the iCREATE program that, like I said, is just really supporting learners. I know there's so many parents that are really stressed and struggling because they're not able to stay home with their kids during this time, but their kids do need that monitoring support. iCREATE can help partner with you as well as your child's teacher to make sure that they're getting everything that they need, including an amazingly fun program going on throughout the day. Anthony mentioned, I think, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 6 p.m., is it, Anthony?
Yes, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay. So, and you mentioned that at iCREATE you work with transitional kinder through 6th grade, maybe 7th grade, depending on the age. But what about families of younger learners? Your program is called Little Eye Leaders. So how little do you go?
So within our Little Eye Leaders building, we have an infant class that starts at 6 weeks. We have a toddler class, and then we also have a preschool program. And the preschool, toddler, and infant program, they all follow the same philosophy as iCREATE and all of the iLead schools, which means that the programs are very play-based. We're very, very hands-on, relationship-based, and we focus on social-emotional learning. And the whole early childhood education program actually here, it's like, I'm not just saying this because I work here, but it's very beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. And I suggest like anyone who has a younger child, like just to even take a tour, because it's actually like every time I'm in those classrooms, I'm just fascinated. Like it's fascinating just watching these little, like the younger learners just like interact and just do their own thing. Like it's beautiful.
That is fantastic, and gosh, as early as 6 weeks old. So you guys have programs from 6 weeks all the way up through 6th grade, maybe even into 7th grade, and then if gosh, this is, you know, Anthony, I've worked for SCVI and iLead now for coming up on 10 years, and I always prided our program on the fact that you could send your child to SCVI starting in transitional kindergarten from 4.5 years through their senior year in high school. But I'm just realizing that's not the case. If you want to enroll in the preschool there, your child can actually kind of stay right there on the same property from 6 weeks of age until high school graduation.
Yes, exactly. We actually have a lot of learners who were the first learners in the preschool program we have who are now in 2nd and 3rd grade. So this is like iLead. The iLead philosophy is all they know. It's beautiful because like they don't have to, you know, to switch up different schools, learn how to different philosophies. Like I don't know how to explain that, but like it's just a great thing that they have a consistent education.
I get exactly what you're talking about. As a parent, you know, anytime you move from one city to another, or even if you're staying at the same house, but your child moves from elementary school to middle school, from middle school to high school, it can be a rough transition. Unless it doesn't have to be. They can just move from one grade to the next at the same school their entire school career. It's a beautiful opportunity for families that have multiple kids. I always remember when I taught 3rd and 4th grade, I loved seeing the high school siblings coming down to pick up their younger brothers and sisters and all attending school right there on the same campus. It really is a beautiful experience. Now, Anthony.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I love working here.
Oh, definitely. And you talk about the relationships that you develop with kids and their families. Anthony, I know that, we talked about it with Dr. Marter. There's so many of us that need our kids in a program like iCREATE to support them during this difficult time. So many of us are anxious to get our kids back on campus, but it can also be nerve-wracking, right? What about safety during this time of a pandemic, especially with infection rates skyrocketing right now? What precautions are you guys taking? What processes and procedures are in place to keep, you as staff member and the rest of the staff and learners and their families safe? What are you guys doing to keep everybody safe?
Yeah, so what we're doing over here to ensure that we keep our staff and our families safe, I'll give you just a few main things that we have switched up now. So there's only one family allowed in the lobby at a time while dropping off or picking up your learner. And so now we have a new contactless check-in process. So the family could actually check in their child on their cell phone rather than using a community pen or a community tablet. And now a staff member actually will take the learner's temperature up front while the parent is filling out a health survey and checking in their learner, and that staff member will also walk that learner to the classroom. So there's no other adults walking in and out of the classroom aside for that classroom teacher. We also have class cohorts to make sure that we keep the same group of learners together throughout their time here. So there's no mingling with outside classrooms. So whatever germs are in one classroom, we're going to stay there. We're not transferring it over. Mm-hmm. We actually just also got this fun electrostatic sprayer that allows us to sanitize the classrooms and play structures very, very efficiently. I actually think this is an electrostatic sprayer that they use in the hospitals right now.
Oh, wow.
So that has been a big lifesaver. And then right now for the iCREATE learners, the learners are actually, when they're inside of the building, they have their masks on, but when they go outside, as long as they're social distancing or if they're eating, they get to take a break, get some fresh air, take their masks off. But then again, if they start to get close to one another, the masks have to be back on.
Okay, so there's anytime we're with other people, there is a little bit of a risk, but very similar to when we talked to Dr. Marter previously. If you need medical care, don't neglect yourself. You're good. You're going to be as safe as possible. Go ahead and head to the hospital. Go visit your doctor. If your kids need support, if you're not able to be there with them to help them with distance learning, you might want to consider iCREATE. They partner with you as well as your child's teacher to make sure that the learning and their education continues to grow and support them to the best of your teacher and our iCREATE staff's ability. So again, to learn more, I want you to call iCREATE at the Little I Leaders campus, 661-383-0400, 661-383-0400, or check them out at littleileaders.org/iCREATE. Again, lowercase I, littleileaders.org/iCREATE. Anthony, I know it's Fun Friday, and you've got a lot of littles counting on you to bring the big fun today at iCREATE. So we won't keep you any longer, but I want to thank you for joining us today. You have a great day and a fantastic weekend.
Of course. Thank you guys so much. I had a blast. I hope I talk to you soon.
Absolutely, Anthony. You take care.
Thank you. Bye.
And I want you to stick around because coming up, we have got Big T. And from what I hear, I think he's bringing the trivia today. So we got Big T coming up right after this on SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
If you need help at home or at the office, call Made For You. Made For You is a locally owned, bonded, and licensed cleaning service with over 20 years of experience. All employees are vetted for your protection. No need to buy products or expensive equipment. The Made For You staff comes complete with everything needed to make your home or office cleaner than ever. Hire Made For You one time, as needed, or on an ongoing basis. No room is off limits. Laundry and ironing services are also available. Call Made For You for a free estimate today. 255-2922. That's 255-2922.
Welcome to Dunkin'. There are 2 Dunkin' locations in the SCV. Both locations have outdoor seating, carry-out service, and delivery with Postmates, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. Use the Dunkin' app to order and accumulate points. The Canyon Country location on Sierra Highway near Via Princesa has drive-through service and is open till 7 p.m. The Bouquet Canyon location just off Newhall Ranch Road has curbside service and is now open till 7 p.m. The Santa Clarita Valley runs on Dunkin'.
This holiday music is brought to you by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, your community health partner. To learn more about their award-winning care, call 1-888-HEALING or visit online at providence.org/holycross.
Wait, what? There we are. Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. And that mouth breathing can only mean one thing. He is back. He's a 40-year resident of Santa Clarita. He is a graduate of Saugus High School, College of the Canyons, the Masters University. He is a top-level executive for a billion-dollar nationwide corporation. He is a community leader, philanthropist, and volunteer. He is an amazing husband and father, yet he still has the time to join us and play around every Friday morning. And he's also Mom's favorite. She said so in a text earlier this week. It's Big T. Welcome back, brother man.
Hey, thanks. Mom texted me this morning, said, what time's my show?
Nice. Hey, I appreciate you letting me join your show every week.
Not a problem.
All right. So what are we doing? What have you got for us today?
We got some trivia this morning. We got some Christmas trivia. We got some sports trivia. We got a little plagiarized 10-10 mixed in there. All righty. Unfortunately, engineer Andrew said he's got some real work to do this morning, so he can't play with us. But we got engineer Patty here with us. Heyo. That means you and Patty have a chance today.
Right? That is
very
truth.
true.
Yeah, Andrew.
Andrew not being here, equal playing field now.
He mopped the floor with us last time. Yeah.
Take it easy, Patty. I wouldn't actually say equal, but...
Oh! You throw down the gauntlet there, Patty.
He did throw down the gauntlet.
He did. You ready?
All right, so let's remind each other of the rules here.
Okay. If you think you know the answer, then shout out your name. Once you shout your name, I'll stop the question, and you'll get the answer right then. If both parties don't shout out their name, your opponent will get the opportunity to hear the rest of the question.
Okay.
So there is good in taking a little bit of a shot ahead of time, because if you know the answer, you'll get it before your opponent rings in. Got it?
And I know you're calling in. Are you going to be able to tell the difference between Patty and Maddie, or...
Why don't you go with Frogger?
Frogger, that's random. All right, cool.
It's just the first thing that came to my head. I just jumped to it.
Frogger.
All right. So what U.S. president served as a cheerleader at Harvard in the early 1900s?
Oh. Frogger. Gerald Ford.
No, he was not there in the early 1900s.
I'm going to say Patty, William Howard Taft.
Ooh, I think that was a
That's
little early.
That's not a bad guess, Patty.
That was
FDR.
Oh, I was thinking that too.
He was
Shaking those pom-poms.
Interesting.
All right.
Call me insensitive, but when I think FDR, I just don't think jumping and shouting.
Yeah, true.
Right.
Oh,
All right,
was cold.
a little bit of Christmas.
All right.
What was the first company that used Santa Claus in advertising?
Ooh, Frogger. I'm going to go with Sears.
No, good guess.
Patty,
Patty.
I'm going to go with Nike.
No, think food and beverage, boys.
Oh, food and beverage. Frogger, honey baked ham.
No, in fact, I think Santa still advertises for this company today.
Food and drink, food and drink, food and drink.
Coca-Cola.
That's where I was going next.
I was thinking the polar bears.
Okay,
For that one, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. In area, what are the 3 largest U.S. states?
Okay, Frogger.
Frogger.
First is Alaska. Second is Texas. Third, Montana.
No.
Ooh.
Patty, you want to get it?
Yeah, I'm going to say Alaska, Texas, and California.
Patty on the board.
Oh, man.
Hey, yo.
By the way, I just
All
want to
right.
let our listeners know, producer Sarah did get Coca-Cola. She beat us on that one.
Perfect. Hey, producer Sarah needs to throw out on Facebook Live whether the listeners like the fun facts better or the trivia or a balance.
There we go. A little Facebook Live.
Little poll.
All right, little poll going on. All right, Patty, sports trivia, Patty. I know you love these.
All right, let's go. Yeah.
What color is the center line that divides an ice hockey rink into 2 halves?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That'd be the blue line.
Incorrect.
Patty.
There's two blue lines. Patty.
I'm going to red.
Red. Patty, 2 for 2, Patty.
Go. Okay, producer
All right.
Sarah says she is keeping score, though. We'll find out the final score later.
Gotcha.
All right.
Where was baby Jesus born?
Patty.
Patty.
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem. Look at Patty running the board.
Boom. Booyah.
I'm ashamed. I've actually been there.
Another sports, Patty, but it was probably before you were born. Who defeated Muhammad Ali in 1978 to win the world title?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Is that Sonny Liston?
No.
No. Muhammad Ali. No, I know this. I know this. Sugar Ray Leonard?
No, he was a middleweight.
Muhammad Ali once commented about him that he was so dumb that the police took away his driver's license and he still ran into a telephone pole.
Okay, was that George Foreman?
No, Leon Spinks.
Oh,
I remember this. Yes.
Leon Spinks, and you know what? I do think the champ understated Spinks' lack of intelligence. Would you say?
Yeah,
right.
I do remember
not a smart
this.
man.
All right. So what NBA player was the only player to be named MVP of the finals, even though his team lost?
Oh. Ooh. Frogger.
Frogger.
LeBron James.
No. You're both still. Go ahead, Patty.
Oh, I was gonna say Allen Iverson.
No. Here's your hint. One word hint. Logo.
Oh, Patty.
Patty.
That's
Oh.
Harry.
Oh, yeah. Frogger.
No, Patty.
You're on the clock. You're on the clock.
Oh,
Patty.
it's
Patty.
the logo, Jerry West.
Oh.
Jerry West.
I'm like thinking the name. I'm like, I know the name.
All right. What was the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time?
Frogger. Die Hard.
Frogger. No. That's not a Christmas movie.
Yes, it is.
I'm kidding.
Yes, producer Sarah, I'm aware that Patty is killing me this morning. But
I'm Patty. I'm going to say. I'm gonna say Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
No.
Oh, okay, Frogger. It's a Wonderful Life.
That's a good one.
No, it's a relatively new one. It was actually 90s, I think.
Uh-oh.
Home Alone.
Oh, okay.
All right. So the New York Giants don't actually play their home games in New York State. What is the only NFL team that does?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That would be the Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills, correct.
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking that. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together on that one.
Right?
Maddie got it.
But the Jets and Giants play in New Jersey.
True.
Yes. What American inventor invented charcoal briquettes?
Oh. Frogger. I'm going to go Henry Ford on this one.
Henry Ford, nice pull.
Yeah!
Ooh, he's coming back.
All right, some more movie trivia. At the 2004 Academy Awards, what sports film won the Oscar for Best Picture?
Oh. 2004
sports film.
2004 sports film.
I'm going to throw out some hints.
All right.
Throw the hints.
Boxing.
Frogger.
Frogger.
$1 Million Baby.
$1 Million Baby.
Don't call it a comeback.
All right.
I've been here for years.
All right. According to the song, what did my true love give me on the 8th day of Christmas?
Frogger.
Frogger.
8 Lords of Leaping.
Incorrect. That's 10 Lords of Leaping.
I'm not up on my Lords of Leaping.
Patty?
I got nothing on that one.
All right.
The
Eight
random
maids,
one.
eight maids of milking.
8 Maids of Milking. Oh. My mother taught me
What
not to
type-
speak of maids of milking in mixed company.
Exactly. What type of birds were responsible for the engine failure that led to pilot
Frogger.
Chelsea Frogger?
Geese.
Geese, correct.
By the way, producer Sarah had maids of milking.
I'm sure she did.
She got the answer correct, is what I mean.
I know what you mean. Hey, take it easy, Loco. What kind of animal is a racing homer?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Pigeon.
It's a pigeon.
Those are flying rats?
Yes. When Mardi Gras ends, what begins?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Lent.
Lent. Patty, we should have stopped at 10 questions, huh?
I know. I should have stopped and be like, yeah. I should have.
I am thanking my Catholic grandmother right now.
Right. What is both a Greek god and a longtime NASA program?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Mercury.
No.
Mercury.
Patty, you got anything?
Oh, no, I'm thinking. Let's see. Venus.
No, Apollo.
Yep, producer Sarah's got, I think, 3 now.
Yes.
Is that 3 for
Nice.
you, producer Sarah, or 4?
Oh, yeah, Apollo.
You're doing pretty good.
What creature's bite can lead to Lyme disease?
Frogger. That would be
Frogger.
a tick.
A tick.
Yep.
All right. In Home Alone, where are the McAllisters going on vacation when they leave Kevin behind?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Is it New York City?
No.
Dang it.
I know it.
It's out of the country.
I know it's out of the country. Paris.
Paris, correct.
Yes.
So bougie.
What country started the tradition of putting up a Christmas tree?
Frogger. Germany.
Frogger.
Boom.
Germany.
He knew that right there.
Yep. In the song Winter Wonderland, what do we call the snowman?
Oh, Frogger.
You know it or you don't? Frogger.
I think we call him Parsons Brown, don't we?
Yes, we do. Parson Brown. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
The Beach
Sarah
Boys
Brown knew that one.
Yep. So the Beach Boys had the most Billboard Top 100 singles in the 70s. Who was second?
Oh.
Rolling Stones. Patty.
No, think of a city.
Frogger, Chicago.
Chicago is correct. What does XO on a bottle of cognac mean?
XO.
On a bottle of cognac.
Frogger, hugs and kisses.
Can I don't know.
Extra old.
Extra old. Is that what my tattoo means?
By the way, I want to point out that that engineer Andrew is texting me, he's like, I got majority of all these right. Y'all are lacking right now.
Yeah, that's why we locked the door, engineer Andrew.
Yep.
What item of clothing got its name from a nuclear test site? Tell Andrew you can't wear a Chernobyl.
Frogger.
Frogger.
Bikini Island, the bikini.
Bikini, correct.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one.
Hey, did you know that, engineer Andrew?
Ooh, I can feel the sting right now.
In 1919, what billionaire constructed a mansion in Central California? Frogger.
William Randolph Hearst.
Correct.
Yeah, it was a house for his, his other friend.
Yes, for his other friend. You know, our grandfather was invited up there, Matt.
He was. He was invited up there for a poker weekend with the son of William Randolph Hearst, and his buddies. He was invited to Hearst Castle for a poker weekend, but he didn't go.
Oh, what?
Yeah. You know why?
I do.
Grandma would not let him.
Really? Huh. Well,
really?
then I heard the euphemistic side of that story. I heard it was because Pacific Coast Highway hadn't been built yet, and he was afraid to fly.
That's not the story I was told.
Okay. Well, that's what you get the truth for being the older brother, I guess.
Grandma put her size 4.5 down and said, no.
Her size 4.5.
All right, what U2 song is on the live album with the disclaimer, this is not a Rebel song?
Frogger. Sunday Bloody Sunday?
That is correct.
Woohoo! How are we doing on time, Patty?
We got maybe like a few minutes. I'd say like a good minute and a half, 2 minutes.
All right, cool.
So let's just go straight sports, okay?
Yes.
49ers superstar Jerry Rice won 3 Super Bowls as a wide receiver.
Frogger,
Where did he
true.
play college ball?
Oh, where did Jerry Rice play college ball?
Patty, UCLA.
Patty.
UCLA?
No.
False.
No.
Frogger, total guess. Stanford.
No. Mississippi Valley State.
Oh, well, of course. That's where I was going next.
Yeah, same.
Which quarterback became the first player to win 6 Super Bowls?
Patty.
Patty.
Tom Brady.
TB12, yep. The ice hockey team known as the Bruins play in which city?
Frogger. Boston.
Frogger. Boston.
Beat me to it.
Yeah, buddy.
Which basketball team won 6 championships in the 90s?
Frogger. Chicago Bulls.
Frogger. Yep.
The Bulls.
The Bulls.
You got to be fast on your buzzer here, Patty.
I know.
Yeah, these sports ones are quick. In what sport are there U.S. franchise teams called the Fire, the Rapids?
Frogger.
Soccer, and the Galaxy.
You got me on that one.
Speaking of soccer, who won the Golden Boot and the Golden Ball in the 2019 Women's Soccer World Cup?
Oh, Frogger.
Frogger?
I'm guessing on the first name here. I think it's Megan Rapinoe.
Good guess. Good job.
Woo!
Do I get half a point if I know how to pronounce her last name?
Rapine, yes.
It's moving on.
Frogger, which team won the first Super Bowl in 1967, defeating the Kansas City Chiefs?
Frogger, the Green Bay Packers.
That would be the Green Bay Packers.
All righty, and I'm going to ask producer Sarah to tally the final score here.
We already know who won.
You know, Patty, you came out of the gate strong, and it looked like I was going to get skunked, but I'm feeling pretty strong about my possibilities here. Looks like Patty finished with 7. Producer Sarah, even though she was on a 10-second delay, had 9. And we got the buffer music coming in. Frogger has 17. Smoked you. Hey, engineer Andrew, you bring it next time. Big T, we got to bounce, but thanks for popping by. We'll see you next week. Thank you to my guests this week, Facey President and CEO, Dr. Roscoe Marter, iCREATE's Anthony Aris, and Big T. And thank you, our listeners. We appreciate you joining us. Join us again next Friday and every Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.